Once upon a time, long ago, there was an old farmer who had spent his entire life working in agriculture and gardening. Little by little, he had bought a large orchard outside the city, filled with many fruit trees. The fruits grown in his orchard, like Save pomegranates, Shahryar grapes, Torbat apples, Mashhad peaches, Shahsavar oranges, Isfahan melons, Sharifabad watermelons, Barghan tomatoes, and Natan's pears, were all famous among the nearby townspeople, and everyone wished they owned such a garden. But this old farmer had no one. He had lost his parents in childhood and traveled to faraway lands when young, seeking work. He had no relatives where he lived, and because he was poor in his youth, while people usually befriend the wealthy, no one had befriended him. Later, when he finally became prosperous and owned such a fine orchard, he no longer cared for others' attempts at friendship. Thus, he lived completely alone. One day, worn out by loneliness and silence, he felt frightened by his solitude and said to himself, "Let me go out for a walk. Perhaps I might find someone of my kind and feel relieved." He left the orchard and, as he enjoyed walking in the mountains, he slowly headed toward a nearby hillside. Coincidentally, in those mountains lived an old, shaggy bear who was also tired of loneliness. Since no other animals lived nearby, he often came down to the open fields hoping to meet a creature to talk to. The old farmer and the old bear met halfway. When the farmer saw the bear walking slowly and looking sad, he said, "Poor creature, why do you wander all alone?" The bear replied, "That is my trouble. I am alone. The young ones play, the strong ones work, but we old ones are left behind, and no one walks with us. I was so depressed I came out to wander in the open plain, hoping my heart would lighten." The gardener said, "Ah, I understand you well. I too feel lonely in my orchard. That is the way of the world. No matter how independent one is, one cannot be truly happy alone. Everyone needs someone who shares their language and way of thinking." The bear was pleased by the farmer's words and replied, "So we are both alike. We are both lonely, both old, and both burdened by solitude. It's best if we become friends and visit each other, talking from time to time." The old farmer said, "I agree. I accept your friendship. And since I have a large orchard full of fruit, we can go there and stay together." They made a pact of friendship and went to the orchard. The bear, finding food, comfort, and a kind companion, became so delighted that he was willing to sacrifice his life for the farmer. He helped in every task he could, and whenever they had no work, they shared stories of their lives and enjoyed each other's company. Every afternoon, the gardener napped under a tree, and the bear, who loved him dearly, took a cloth in his paw to fan away the flies from the old man's face. Days passed. One day, while the farmer was asleep and the faithful bear was busy swatting flies, more and more flies started gathering. A few stubborn ones kept landing near the farmer's lips. They would not leave him alone. The old man shifted in his sleep and shook his head several times, but the flies returned again and again. Little by little, the bear grew very angry at the flies for disturbing his dear friend. No matter how much he waved the cloth, they were not frightened. At last the bear thought, "What rude, stubborn flies. I will teach you a lesson so you will never bother my dear master again." He picked up a huge rock, Tin Man, lifted it high, aimed at the flies sitting on the old man's face, and slammed the stone down with force. Of course, the flies flew away, but the old farmer's head was crushed, and he died there, losing his life from the friendship of a foolish bear. The bear truly meant to help him, but because he was ignorant, his attempt to do good destroyed his friend. This is why the well-known proverb says, "Such and such a friendship is like the friendship of a bear," meaning, the friendship of an ignorant friend can be more harmful than the enmity of the wise.